Okay, imagine, like, having a secret map to your own sexual well-being, a guide that just cuts through all the noise,
Mm,
and the outdated ideas about sex.
yeah.
That's exactly what we're diving into today. We've done a deep dive into the Come As You Are workbook by Emily Nagoski. She's a New York Times bestselling author and expert in this field.
Hmm.
And this isn't about quick fixes or anything. It's a really practical, evidence-based journey designed to help you enhance your relationship with your own sexuality.
Right. Reduce frustration, boost pleasure.
Exactly.
And it's fascinating, isn't it, how much our sort of cultural stories about sex can really cloud what's actually going on in our bodies and our brains.
Totally.
So this deep dive, it's all about giving you tools and insights grounded in science, right?
Yeah.
To understand your unique sexual experience.
And communicate better with partners, too.
Yes. Think of it like a personal exploration. Why your arousal, your desire, your pleasure work the way they do.
Hmm.
And how you can maybe remove some barriers to great sex.
So, our mission today: extract the most important nuggets of knowledge from this amazing resource, tailored specifically for you. We're going to explore your body, your brain, and the really powerful role of context in shaping how you experience sex.
You'll hear some surprising facts, I think, some
Uh-huh.
practical
Yeah,
exercises.
those really eye-opening perspectives, definitely. Okay, so let's start right at the foundation, your body.
Right.
From the moment we're born, our assigned gender comes with this whole script. Expectations about our bodies, how we should feel about them.
Yeah, and the workbook opens with this really powerful idea.
Hmm.
No two bodies, especially genitals, are alike. Period.
It's such a basic point, but so often overlooked.
It really is.
Hmm.
And this raises a key question. Think about how often you might hear a parent shushing a child for touching their genitals, compared to, like, if the kid touches their belly button.
Hmm.
Totally different reaction, usually.
Yeah, no big deal with the belly button.
Exactly. The workbook shares these two contrasting stories that really hit this home. One, a dad tells his baby daughter, don't touch that, when she touches her genitals, instilling shame right there.
Wow. So early.
And the other, a therapist tells her own 2-year-old daughter, yes, honey, that's your clitoris. And the little girl says, my clitoris is my favorite.
Oh, I love that. What a difference.
It's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Shows how deeply those early messages affect our sense of, bodily autonomy.
That second story really highlights, well, it contrasts so sharply with the cultural programming, and it's wild, isn't it, that the actual medical term for female external genitals, pudendum, it comes from Latin meaning to make ashamed.
Seriously, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, talk about a built-in cultural lens.
Right.
But the workbook stresses your body is your ultimate source of knowledge.
Exactly. And connecting this to the bigger picture,
Yeah.
the workbook offers practical ways to challenge these negative feelings.
How so?
Well, for those who identify as women, it's about actively befriending your genitals, making peace with them. But it's also really careful, and I think this is important, to acknowledge that for transgender, intersex, and non-binary folks, that relationship with gendered body parts can be super complex.
Right. It might involve resentment or grief even.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for them, maybe practices like giving their parts names that feel right. The book mentions examples like strapless or Buck Rogers, or maybe a loving kindness meditation. Those might be more empowering.
I really appreciate that inclusive approach, finding what works for you.
Totally. It's personal.
So one exercise the workbook suggests for you, the listener, is incredibly simple but powerful. Just saying the anatomical words for genital parts out loud, like vagina, vulva, labia, clitoris. Try whispering them, saying them normally, even shouting them like, hooray!
Yeah, the idea is to notice that little squick reaction, that feeling of, ooh, shouldn't say that, and just gently move past it.
Yeah, desensitize yourself a bit.
Another really good suggestion is to actively look for diverse images of genitals, ones that are portrayed positively.
Where would you find those?
The book actually names some resources, like a feminist or the Visual Vaginal Library, to help you see the truth. Every set of genitals is unique, beautiful, and totally normal.
Right. Made of the same basic parts, just arranged differently.
Exactly.
And then there's the most direct exercise, maybe. Identifying your own parts with a hand mirror.
Yep. Getting familiar.
And this isn't just like biology class. It's about reclaiming ownership, isn't it?
Absolutely. And the workbook makes a really crucial distinction here. The vulva, that's the external package. The vagina is the internal canal.
Why does that distinction matter so much?
Because calling everything the vagina
Yeah.
basically erases the clitoris. which is, pretty central to pleasure for many people.
Ah, okay, good.
Using the proper names gives you a more complete picture of your sexuality. It moves beyond just reproduction.
Right.
And it's also vital for recognizing that pain is not normal during sex. If you experience pain, you need to seek out a specialist. The book mentions the Herman and Wallace Pelvic Rehabilitation Institute, despite, sometimes getting unhelpful advice from regular doctors.
That's so important to hear. Pain isn't normal.
Definitely not. And the workbook is really clear. There's no such thing as a vulva that needs surgery to look normal. They are all normal, all beautiful. It even tackles worries about labia appearance directly in a Q&A.
Okay, so we've covered the body, the physical foundation. Now let's shift to the control center, your brain.
The main event, really.
You might think sexual response is all, down there, but the workbook shows the real action is between your ears through something called the dual control model.
Yes, this is huge. Your brain basically has two distinct systems. Think of it like a car's gas pedal and brakes.
Okay, gas and brakes.
The sexual accelerator, that's the gas. It notices all the sex-related stuff out there, everything that sends a potential turn-on signal. And it's kind of buzzing along at a low level all the time.
Always scanning.
Right. And then you have the sexual brakes. They notice all the reasons not to be turned on right now, everything your brain flags as a potential threat or reason to stop, also operating quietly in the background.
So getting aroused isn't just about hitting the gas.
Exactly. It's a dual process. You need to turn on the ons, hit the accelerator, and crucially, turn off the offs, release the brakes.
Okay. That explains why feeling ambivalent about sex is totally normal, right?
100% normal.
Yeah.
You might love your partner's kiss, but maybe not when you're at a crowded party.
Right. Context matters.
Or sometimes a stimulus might hit both your accelerator and your brakes simultaneously, especially if you've learned to associate sex with threat or anxiety.
Like driving with one foot on the gas and one on the brake.
Exactly. Super frustrating, gets you nowhere fast.
So if you're struggling with arousal or desire...
It could be too little gas, not enough stimulation to the accelerator, but honestly, more often it's too much brake, too many offs being activated.
Interesting. How do you figure out your own balance?
Well, the workbook actually have a questionnaire. It's adapted from a scientific tool, the SETI-WM, to help you understand how sensitive you are to these ons and offs.
So you can see if you have naturally high brakes or low brakes or sensitive accelerator.
Precisely. People vary so much. High brakes, low brakes, high gas, low gas, all normal variations.
Yeah.
Knowing your own pattern is really empowering.
Okay, so the key takeaway is really understanding your personal triggers. What hits your gas, what hits your brakes.
That's the core of it. The workbook lists common accelerator triggers. Things about your partner, feeling wanted, feeling connected, just thinking about sex, erotica, sexy environments.
The usual suspects.
Right? But it also lists powerful brake hitters. Things like stress, body image worries, shame, performance anxiety.
Fear of being interrupted. That's a big one for parents.
Totally. Or relationship issues, trust problems, a history of trauma, even just associating touch with, like, caregiving instead of pleasure.
Wow, lots of potential breaks.
Which brings us right back to context is everything. The workbook uses that great analogy of tickling.
Oh, yeah, I like that one.
In one context, it can be fun, playful, flirty even.
Yeah.
But if you're furious with the person tickling you, you might want to punch them.
Definitely not fun then.
Your brain interprets the exact same sensation completely differently based on the surrounding context. So a sex-positive context generally means high trust, high affection, low stress, and, some explicit eroticism helps.
Makes sense. So the workbook helps you map this out.
Exactly. It guides you through exercises to identify your personal sexy contexts and your not-so-sexy contexts.
What kinds of things do you look at?
Things like your mental and physical state, partner and relationship factors, the setting, other stuff going on in your life, and also what they call ludic factors.
Ludo, like playfulness.
Yeah, playfulness, experimentation, novelty. You literally create a map of what makes sex great specifically for you.
Okay. But what if you feel, required to have sex? When the context feels totally wrong, does it address that?
It does, in the Q&A section. The advice: take sex completely off the table for a while.
Really? Just stop.
Temporarily, yeah. Because you're never truly required to have sex. The goal isn't to force yourself to feel something you don't. It's to change the context so maybe you can feel differently later.
Change the situation, not force the feeling.
Exactly. It's all evidence-based.
Yeah.
Find strategies that feel doable but impactful. Make concrete plans. Think about barriers. Boost your motivation. Oh, and it has that funny, memorable example
Which one?
about wearing socks. Research found people orgasm more easily if they wore socks because, well, their feet were cold.
Seriously,
Yep.
socks?
Sometimes the off is just cold feet. It highlights finding those simple, practical context changes.
Okay, so we carry around these really strong cultural scripts, don't we, about how sex is supposed to work.
Oh, absolutely.
And one of the biggest myths is around arousal and desire. The workbook introduces this really critical concept, arousal non-concordance.
Yes. This one is so important to
What
understand.
does it mean exactly for how we understand our bodies?
It basically means your physical response. What your genitals are doing doesn't always match up with your subjective experience, like what you're feeling or wanting in your head.
So your body might react even if you're not into it.
Precisely. Your genitals might respond physiologically to any sex-related cue, even when you don't want or don't like.
Yeah.
The actual overlap between, say, genital blood flow and actually subjectively liking or wanting something, it can be as low as 10%, maybe up to 50%, but often quite low.
Wow, only 10 to 50% overlap.
Yeah. So the critical insight here is bodies don't say yes or no. They just say sex-related or not sex-related.
That feels huge, especially thinking about consent and misinterpretation.
It is huge. The workbook shares this really powerful and, frankly, sobering story.
Mhm.
A student told Emily Nagoski that a new partner ignored her, saying no,
Why?
because he said, "You're wet, you're so ready." And the student actually thought because her body responded, maybe she couldn't call it rape.
Oh, that's awful. And so dangerous.
Terribly dangerous. This myth is used all the time to discredit survivors. Understanding arousal non-concordance is absolutely vital for validating people's experiences and promoting real consent.
So, just to be crystal clear, your body responding does not equal consent, does not mean you want it or like it.
Absolutely not. And the workbook calls out how even journalists and, philosophers sometimes get this wrong. Like Elaine de Botton apparently asserted that erections and lubrication are unambiguous agents of sincerity.
Wow, that's misinformed.
Completely. The workbook encourages you to practice spotting this error and even suggests using phrases like, "My genitals don't tell you what I want or like, I do."
Putting the power back in your own words, I like that.
Exactly. It empowers you.
Okay, so we've cleared up arousal. What about desire itself? We're often taught about spontaneous desire, right? That lightning bolt out of the blue craving.
Yeah, the Hollywood version.
But the workbook introduces another kind, responsive desire.
This is key for long-term relationships especially. Responsive desire is desire that emerges in response to pleasure.
So it doesn't just appear, it builds because something feels good.
Exactly. As the book puts it simply, pleasure is the measure.
Yeah.
Start engaging physically, it feels good. Then the desire kicks in.
How does this play out in real life, like for couples trying to maintain intimacy?
Well, the research on long-term happy couples, it's not about constant, spontaneous craving or super adventurous sex lives necessarily.
What is it then?
It boils down to two main things. One, being best friends, deep trust, deep affection. And two, prioritizing sex.
Making time for it.
Literally.
Yeah.
Putting your bodies in the bed,
Yeah.
letting skin touch skin, remembering, oh yeah, I like this person, I like this feeling. It's like that analogy from the sex therapist in the book.
A party one.
Yeah. You plan to go to a party, maybe you didn't feel like getting ready, but you go anyway.
Yeah.
And once you're there, mingling, music playing, you start having fun.
Ah, okay. That's responsive desire in action. You showed up and the desire followed.
Precisely.
So the workbook helps you figure out your context for both kinds of desire, spontaneous and responsive.
Yes, it helps you explore when each might show up for you. And there's a really insightful part for the partner who usually has higher desire.
Oh, it's that.
It prompts them to ask, what do I really want when I want sex? Because often it's more than just orgasm, right?
Yeah, it might be feeling wanted, connected, loved.
Exactly. And communicating those deeper needs rather than just I want sex can actually take pressure off the other partner. It can release their brakes,
That makes so much sense. Less pressure, more connection.
which leads nicely into this idea of the magic circle.
Okay, what's the magic circle?
Is that protected space, that bubble
Mhm.
you intentionally create for sexual connection. Especially important if you rely more on responsive desire.
Because you need to set the stage.
Right. Planning sex becomes essential. And the workbook gives really detailed steps for how to transition, how to shift from your busy day-to-day mindset into that magic circle.
So planning doesn't have to kill the mood.
Not at all. It's not about losing spontaneity. It's about making time for something you value, like planning a date night. And it also breaks down 5 different styles of initiating sex,
Yeah.
from like provocative seduction to focusing on emotional connection, even power dynamics. It helps you understand what really pushes your accelerator buttons.
Wow, we have covered so much ground, and now we get to a topic that's just loaded with expectation: orgasm.
Big go.
But the workbook's definition, it feels incredibly freeing. Orgasm is simply a sudden, involuntary release of tension generated in response to sex-related stimuli. That's it.
It's brilliant in its simplicity, isn't it? Notice what's not in that definition.
Right. No mention of genitals specifically, no specific acts, nothing about what it should feel like.
Exactly. Because orgasms vary wildly, person to person, even context to context for the same person.
They can happen from all sorts of stimulation, right? Not just intercourse.
Oh yeah, even during sleep sometimes, or exercise. There's no better or worse kind of orgasm. The quality just comes down to, did you like it? Did you want it?
That's so simple. It even addresses that question people have. How do I even know if I've had one?
And the answer is perfect. If it felt like you had an orgasm, then you did.
Yeah.
Trust your experience.
Okay. So how does the workbook suggest exploring orgasm, especially if it feels elusive?
Well, first off, it completely normalizes masturbation. It
Good.
says over 90% of women have masturbated. It's framed as the most efficient, healthy way to explore your own experience of orgasm. Learn what works for you.
Makes sense. You're the expert on your own body.
Right. It guides you to try different postures, techniques, types of touch. And it notes that, actually, the vast majority of women masturbate without vaginal penetration, focusing more on the clitoris, the labia.
That's probably news to a lot of people, given cultural focus.
Probably. So if you do struggle with orgasm, what's the most effective approach the workbook suggests?
What is it?
Replace frustration with curiosity.
Okay. How does that work?
Frustration, like anger or anxiety, just
Yeah.
slams on the brakes. It makes orgasm less likely. So the new goal isn't have an orgasm.
What is it then?
The goal becomes explore sensations with genuine curiosity for, say, 5 or 10 minutes. Just notice how your body responds without judging it.
Taking the pressure off.
Exactly. It's a mindset shift that can unlock so much.
That shift from pressure to curiosity sounds
Yeah.
incredibly liberating. And you mentioned turning off the offs is key for pleasure. What's the most important practice for that?
According to the workbook, it's self-kindness.
Self-kindness.
Stop shitting all over yourself. You
Whoa.
know, I should feel this. I should orgasm like that. If you believe your sexuality should be different from what it is, that's just hitting your own brakes hard.
So acceptance instead of judgment.
Yes, and building on that, the workbook introduces this practice called practicing ecstasy through arousal cycles.
Practicing ecstasy. Sounds intriguing.
It is. The idea is you intentionally let your arousal build up to, say, a 4 out of 10. Then you consciously let it subside back down to a 1,
Okay.
then maybe up to a 5, then back down to 1. You gradually approach higher levels of pleasure, but then you deliberately back away without pushing for orgasm.
Why do that? Why back away?
It actually expands your capacity for pleasure. It helps you get comfortable with intense sensations without the pressure of a goal. You learn to really tune in and connect with all the feelings along the way.
That's fascinating. Building tolerance for pleasure, almost?
In a way, yeah. So all these different insights, the body knowledge, the dual control, the context, desire, orgasm, it all leads to this ultimate goal, rewriting your sexual script.
Our internal narratives about sex?
Exactly. We all carry these mental models, often unconscious, of the ideal sexual person, usually pieced together from moral messages, medical ideas, media portrayals.
Right. And we compare ourselves.
Yep. Our internal monitor measures us against these scripts. And if your actual experience doesn't match the script, the workbook's message is loud and clear. The script is wrong, not you.
That's powerful. The script is wrong, not you.
So the final part of this deep dive encourages you to actually write out a narrative. Describe the kind of sex you have right now, but without judgment. Assume your sexuality, just as it is the ideal.
Kind of flipping the script yourself.
Exactly. Embrace any dissonance you feel. Notice where you tend to be self-critical.
And how do you deal with that self-criticism or performance anxiety?
The workbook circles back to a really fundamental tool, mindfulness.
Mindfulness. Being present.
Being present non-judgmentally. Just aware. It even offers an advanced mindfulness exercise.
What is it?
You hold a slightly uncomfortable stretch for about 45 seconds. And you just keep bringing your attention, gently, back to the physical sensation of the stretch, over and over.
How does stretching help with sex?
It trains your brain. It trains your brain to neutrally observe discomfort, whether that's physical discomfort or emotional discomfort, like anxiety or frustration.
I see. So you can kind of step outside the feeling.
Exactly. You learn to observe it without getting swept away by it. which allows you to then problem solve more effectively instead of just reacting.
That's a really practical application of mindfulness. Okay, so bringing it all together.
There's one final, quite powerful exercise. It asks you to select two objects.
Two objects, like physical things.
Yep. One object represents a part of your sexual story, your
Mhm.
experience that you want to keep, something you want to nurture and expand on.
Okay, something positive to hold on to.
And the other object represents a part you want to release,
Mhm.
something you want to move beyond, let go of.
Like an old belief or a negative pattern.
Precisely. It's a tangible, symbolic way
Mm-hmm.
to acknowledge your whole journey, the good, the bad, the complicated, and to consciously choose how you want to shape your sexual well-being going forward.
Wow. Okay, this deep dive into the Come As You Are workbook, it really has, I feel, illuminated a whole new script, an evidence-based one, moving way beyond those limiting cultural stories we talked about.
It really has. We've seen that people truly vary,
Mm-hmm.
that our brains use that dual control model, gas and brakes,
Right.
that arousal non-concordance is normal, responsive desire is normal,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe most importantly, that context, the situation, profoundly shapes our access to pleasure.
And knowing all that really empowers you, doesn't it? To shed shame, take ownership. So what's the kind of the final message for you listening? What does this all mean?
I think it means your pleasure belongs entirely to you.
Yeah.
You are entitled to all the pleasure your body can feel, however it experiences it, whatever context created for you, and in whatever amounts you want it. It's yours.
No apologies needed.
None. And, the workbook ends with this fantastic analogy from Kung Fu Panda.
Kung Fu Panda, really?
Yeah. Remember the legendary dragon scroll that supposedly held the secret to limitless power?
Vaguely. What was the secret?
It turned out to be blank. Just a reflective surface showing the hero, Po, his own face.
Ah, so the secret was...
There is no secret ingredient. It's just you.
That's perfect. The secret ingredient to great sex isn't some hidden trick or technique or some external standard you have to meet.
Nope. It's you. Your body, your brain, your unique history and experiences, and your choice. Your choice to approach your own sexuality with curiosity, with kindness, and with self-compassion.
It really brings it all back to self-acceptance and exploration.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. What's one small step, just one thing you could take away from this deep dive today to start embracing your great sex, owning your pleasure a little more?
Yeah, something to mull over. Maybe something to explore further.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for joining us on this incredibly insightful deep dive. We really hope it's provided you with maybe a new mirror, a way to see the greatness that already exists within your own sexuality.
Yeah.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep being you.